welcome to Bogor. Just 1 hour and 20 minutes train ride south of Jakarta is the town of Bogor, famous for its botanical gardens. "210 acres, 15,000 trees and plants. Welcome to Bogor Botanical Gardens." It was created in 1817 by order of the Dutch East India Company, and it's an amazing place to wander and explore right in the heart of Bogor. You can visit just to sit in the shade on a hot day, and it's nearly always hot here. You can have a picnic, always a great idea, or even do some exercise, or just walk around. But I'm going to show you 20 things to see in Bogor Botanical Gardens. Okay, so when you come in the entrance, there is a fee. I'll do for foreigners, there's fees for locals as well. It's 15,000 for locals, it's 26,000, that's Indonesian rupiahs, for a visitor. When you come in the entrance, there's a little kiosk, just here. You go and buy your ticket, one of these. You also get a map which shows you the main routes and the main attractions through the gardens. Then you go here, get your ticket validated. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey.
Sorry.
Yes.
Do you make a video? Like
YouTube.
That? Oh, YouTube.
YouTube videos, yes.
Oh, you make like
travel videos.
travel video, like vlog or
Sorry?
your vlog?
Vlog, yes.
Kind
Vlog
of
and
that.
travel, yes. Okay?
It's fine.
Thank you very much. Towering over the botanical gardens is this tree, Compesia excelsior, claimed to be the tallest tree in Southeast Asia. These trees can grow up to 80 meters tall. I have no idea how tall this tree is, except I can tell you it's really tall and beautiful. It's actually quite near the entrance, so if you come in the main entrance, it's just on the right beside the Shiva statue, so very easy to find. And one of the unique things about this species of tree is that for a tall tree, it has surface roots. Most tall trees have deep roots to keep them strong. This is a surface root tree. These are the roots. Because it does that because there's not so many good nutrients down on the ground, it gathers nutrients from the surface. Just one of the amazing things in Bogor Botanical Gardens. Let's go and show you some more. Okay, now this is the Nandi cow and Shiva statue, and this is a cat that's come to say hello. This is the Nandi cow and the Shiva statue. Now these were discovered by the Dutch in about 1800s in southern Bogor, and they're thought to be dated from the 8th century AD, when the Hindu kings used to rule over this area, because this used to predominantly be a Hindu area, and Shiva and her vehicle, the Nandi cow, were two of the symbols of worship of that religion. Now this beautiful area of the park is named after a beautiful woman. And not just any beautiful woman, but the Queen Consort of King Leopold III of Belgium. Now she came to visit Bogor Botanical Gardens in 1929, and this area was specially landscaped for her to welcome her, and it's now still called Astrid Park. Okay, joined by another cat. Okay, this is Lady Raffles Memorial Monument, built by her husband, Sir Thomas Raffles, after his beloved wife died. It's a memory to his love to her in the Botanical Gardens where they used to spend time. And I have a new friend who wants to spend some time here as well. Are you okay there? There's quite a few cats roaming around the garden. They're all quite friendly, but be careful, a lot of them got sores on them, and they all look quite healthy and well fed. They just want a bit of love. A bit like the guy who lost his wife and put this memorial up. Moving on to the giant water lily pond. Now these are Amazon lilies, and they are the largest lily pads on this planet. They can grow up to 3 meters in diameter and can carry up to 45 kilos on. That is amazing. They also have these beautiful pink and white flowers that grow up to 45 centimeters in size. Unfortunately today there's none flowering to show you, so we can just use our imaginations. Whoa, what a beautiful day! And appropriately, I am in a dry, arid part of the park, which is called the Mexican Garden. It's meant to imitate the dry, arid desert areas of the world. It has no actual historical connection to Mexico, apart from the fact that there's a lot of desert plants that are found in the desert, like in the desert in Mexico, planted here. But in fact, the plants, there's yuccas, aloes, cactus, come from all over all the dry deserts in the world, and are planted in here to recreate a little bit of extra heat in desert in beautiful Bogor Botanical Gardens. As if they need any extra heat here. Oh, let's show you around. Now behind me is a small suspension bridge with a big myth. It is said that if you walk over this bridge with your loved one, it will end that relationship and you will end up with a broken heart. Oh. So, shall we risk going across or not? What do you think? You going to come with me? Canary Street. Now this is a long street with these amazing, beautiful trees towering either side of it, offering this beautiful shaded area. It really is gorgeous. Unfortunately, it's been used more as a car park than to enjoy. I wish they wouldn't let cars in here, and especially they just park everywhere and they just pull off the road and destroy the environment that they've come to see. This does annoy me a little bit. And litter, I've seen so many people throwing litter down, cigarette butts and things. Does make me upset, especially in such a beautiful place. Please, 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 if you come to a beautiful place, don't park on the environment that you've come to admire. Park outside and walk in. And if you bring everything you bring in, bring out. If you have any rubbish, please don't throw it down. Please don't even put it in the bins here. I haven't seen many bins, which could be one of the problems. Whatever you bring in, take out with you. Leave no rubbish. Enjoy the environment, because this environment is our future and our children's future. Enough ranting. Let's go on and enjoy some more of this beautiful scenery. Let me show you how beautiful this place is. Next up is Gunting Pond and Fountain, a focal point in the park. It's almost in the centre. One end starts at the palace, which we'll shorten, show you in a little while, and it comes down through the park. It's got some shady trees lining one side, there's a sitting area and paved area on the other side, and usually at the other end, from the presidential palace, there's a mobile food truck selling snacks and drinks. So it's an ideal place after wandering through the park and working up a bit of a sweat to maybe grab a snack, get something to eat, rehydrate, sit down and enjoy this beautiful view. Now I've retreated to the Orchid House and the Orchidarium, which, as you guessed it, specialises in orchids. Now it was set up in 2002 to try and preserve as many of the unique species of orchids across Indonesia as possible, because as the economy expands across Indonesia, deforestation is growing at a pace, and the habitat for these shade-loving, beautiful, delicate creatures is disappearing. Money over nature, the old story of man as we expand. So this has been set up to try and preserve and collect as many of these species as possible and put them in one area, so that as their natural habitat dies out, at least the orchid species itself can be preserved and maybe in the future reintroduced to grow in the wild. There's so many species of orchid, I had no idea. They are a beautiful flower. Unfortunately at the moment there's not many flowering to show you, but I will show you the orchidarium, and there is this area here which explains about uses of orchids, the types of flowers, the largest, the smallest, their habitat, as well as some of the orchids here. statue of a man gazing upwards while standing on a giant hand. Now this is not an Indonesian statue at all. In fact, it was created by a Swedish sculptor by the name of Carl Miles, who was actually an assistant to Rodin, the famous French sculptor. And what this statue represents is that man can best achieve his goals by placing himself in God's hand. Another statue originating from Scandinavia. This is a copy of the Little Mermaid statue, the same as the one that's in Copenhagen that gazes out to sea, waiting for her love to return. But this one is gazing out over the lotus ponds, maybe also waiting for her love to return. Built by the Dutch in 1744, and then for some reason, I don't know, presumably got knocked down, neglected or something, rebuilt in 1856 in its current style, is Bogor Palace. It's one of 6 presidential palaces in Indonesia. That's palaces that the president of Indonesia can stay at as he wanders around the country. This is his favourite retreat away from Jakarta. Now, it got neglected for a long time, then the first president of Indonesia stayed in it, then it got neglected, and only in 2015 did the current president start using it again. So you can't go into the palace, obviously it's the president's palace, unless you go on an organised tour with authorization from the president. So unfortunately I'm not going to take you there and show you around unless I happen to meet the president wandering around and ask if I can just come and have a cup of tea with him. Now this statue and this garden, tucked in the corner of the Bogor Botanical Gardens, is dedicated to probably one of the most important people in Bogor Botanical Gardens history. And actually his actions had a huge influence on the whole of Southeast Asia. Now this was put up in 1884, commemorating, I'm not sure what year he died, but there was 2 things he did. When he first took charge of the Bogor Botanical Gardens, it was him who embarked on the most ambitious program to expand the number of species in here. When he came, there was under 1,000 different types of plants and trees. Now, in his time, he expanded that to 10,000 species from all over the world, not just Indonesia. But there was 2 particular trees, types of tree that he brought in that really changed and the economics of Indonesia especially, and of Southeast Asia, because it was him that brought in the palm oil tree. He shipped them in from Africa, planted them here, nurtured them, and from then on the palm oil tree and the palm oil industry spread all over Southeast Asia. Indonesia is still the world's #1 producer of palm oil, and most of the cooking done in Southeast Asia is with the palm oil from the tree that was brought here. So Indonesia and Southeast Asia has him to thank for the palm oil business that really propped up the economy and helped build Indonesia in those early days. The second thing he brought in, because he brought the palm oil in because he realized it could be converted into an industry. But then he looked around Indonesia and he realized they struggled with food. So the other thing he brought in, also from Africa, was the cassava plant, because he realized that the cassava plant could grow quickly and actually could provide a reasonably nutritious filling food. So he also brought in the cassava plant. He also, from Peru, brought in a third plant whose name I cannot remember at the moment, that actually helps prevent malaria. The leaves could be crushed and used to treat malaria, which was a huge problem in those days, and many, both the settlers and the locals, died of malaria, still do today. So this garden is in his honour. It's tucked in a small corner. There's hardly anybody there. It's nice and quiet, and there's just this monument to him in honour of Johannes Elias Tasman, but there's no information on to what an amazing impact he had on this country and this part of the world. Somewhere around here is still apparently the original palm tree that he brought in the 1800s, the father-parent palm tree, oil palm tree. I can't find it. And there's lots of palm trees around here, and they're all really big. Maybe it'll have a plaque on it. Anyway, that is the story of this monument and this part of the park. And also, from the crowds, it's quite a nice, well, the busy road behind, quite a nice part to sneak off to, because it's not near any fountains or anything famous, and I don't think many people know what this whole section is about, but you do, and I do. Where are we off to next? For my final place of the day, as the sun goes down just before closing, the old Dutch cemetery. Finally, as the sun sets at the end of the day, we end our trip from Bogor Botanical Gardens in the cemetery. This is the old Dutch cemetery where 38 of the colonists were buried here in Bogor Gardens. I think there's one more modern one, but most of them are from the 1800s. And it just sits quietly in the corner of the park. I wonder if any of the relatives of these people are still here in Indonesia today.